If I touch this little button on my mic, the green light, it goes red and my mic goes mute. Welcome, everybody. I want to talk to you about 3i Atlas. This is October 2nd. We are one day before the flyby at Mars. That's when we're going to have the best look at it. 3i Atlas is the third confirmed interstellar comet detected in our solar system. It follows Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. Atlas was first spotted on July 1st, 2025 by the NASA-funded Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. That's Atlas, Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. That telescope is in Chile. The Comet 3i Atlas is hurtling through the solar system at 245,000 kilometers per hour on a hyperbolic trajectory originating from interstellar space. It's estimated to be massive, over 33 billion tons, with a nucleus diameter of 3 to 5 kilometers. It features a prominent coma of gas and dust in an envelope spanning about 26,400 kilometers, which is twice Earth's diameter. So imagine you got this object about 5 kilometers nucleus, but about 26,000 kilometers across, and it's coming in at 245,000 kilometers per hour. Unlike typical comets, it shows no sign of rotation, which we were thinking it was rotating. But as of today, I'm telling you, they no longer think it's rotating. It's also not heating up, even though it's absorbing gigawatts of solar energy as it gets closer to the sun. And it also has unusual outgassing patterns that has no effect on the trajectory. Now, there's a lot of social media speculation out there. That's why I keep making videos. And one of the speculation is that something hit it, and I know what that something was, so do you, and that it broke it up, and now Mars is going to get hit, and Earth is going to get hit. Well, let me tell you, there's no evidence of that. It's all speculation. It's all conspiracy theory. And what hit it was the coronal mass ejection earlier this week. And there's lots of great theories. You can go listen to my previous videos about what that was about and how that happened and how rare it is to think that an interstellar object just happened to come by the sun as it ejects out this massive coronal mass ejection. But this is an increased activity time for the sun. So, there's a path forward for that school of thought. But right now, the interesting thing is nothing seems to be affecting the trajectory. The coronal mass ejection caused the tail to blip just a little bit, what little tail there is. If you pay attention to guys like Dobsonian Power and Angry Astronaut, they don't think this is a comet, and they don't think it has many comet characteristics. In fact, Dobsonian Power released a photograph that he took from his telescope on top of his roof in Spain, and probably the best image that we've gotten in recent history and until December. And when you filter out all the noise and all that, it apparently has a triangular look. And, that's further fueling speculation that this is not a comet. And I can tell you, Dobsonian Power, he's got eyes on the skies all the time. He's looked at countless comets. He's got countless video examples of what a comet should be looking like at different points as it's approaching the sun. And 3i Atlas is not exhibiting that. So I'm not an astrophysicist, but let me just tell you my opinion. There's two camps out there. There's the camp that thinks that some kind of alien tech, and then there's a camp that think this is exotic chemistry from an interstellar origin. I tend to be thinking it's interstellar and it's exotic chemistry. And there's some points I'm going to bring up here about why I think that. But one thing to keep in mind right now, the government shut down here in the USA, and NASA's site has stopped updating. So we're not getting those live feeds and live data from NASA right now. But we are getting it from the European Space Agency and some independent researchers out there. So but still, what I've been saying all along is what's important is this Mars flyby. And it's happening in about 12 hours, and we're going to get some good shots from it. And, that's going to tell the tale. Maybe it'll end some of the speculation, which is a good thing. And I like to tell people that in reality, if this becomes a non-event, I'm saying it's a non-event from a conspiracy standpoint. Like, it's not aliens. They're not terraforming Mars. It's not going to wipe out something. If it's not any of that, and it's just a flyby, and it was very peculiar, and it was a whole bunch of coincidences, but in the end, it just makes its way out of the solar system just like its predecessors did. I think what we've learned is we do need to keep eyes on the sky. And maybe we need to start pre-deploying missions in anticipation of a time when we might need to take stronger action. And also, one of the social media rumors is that we're about to launch something. We're about to launch a mission to intercept this and maybe try to, divert it. Well, we can't. It's going too fast. It's too big, and we ran out of time. We didn't have time to respond. So there's no missions being deployed. It's too late if that's the case. So this was, Avi Loeb at Harvard. They've analyzed like 4 months of optical data, and they're the ones that have said this object is orders of magnitude massive compared to prior interstellar objects. There's no detectable non-gravitational acceleration despite its active coma and tail, and this is quite possibly a once in 10,000 year event. NASA's test satellite data indicates that there was some cometary activity outgassing before they even realized it was a comet back in May, when the object was 6.4 astronomical units from the sun, about 2 months before pre-discovery. So that kind of makes you think that, this is probably a relic from billions of years ago. European Space Agency has ground-based observations that started in July using telescopes in Hawaii and Chile, Australia. And we've got Hubble and James Webb up there. We've got Mars Express. We've got ExoMars. We got the Trace Gas Orbiter that's going to do some spectral analysis. We got JUICE that's going to observe from Jupiter. So we're going to see some images. We're going to get some analysis. We're going to get a better idea. Like, did it break up? How big is it? Is it rotating? What's going on? And what's some analysis of the gas? Are we finally going to see some iron with the nickel? Because right now we're not. Also, remember there was a color shift. It was glowing red, and now it started to glow green. And there's a lot of speculation about what that could be: diatomic carbon levels, UV light being absorbed. But it's not visible from Earth right now, so we don't see that because of the solar conjunction blackout. That ends in early December. When that comes back on, this Mars flyby is important, lots of stuff to analyze, but when it comes back online in December, we're going to have some really good images of it. We're going to have a really good idea, and if there's a problem, we'll know then. Not much we can do about it if there's a problem, but we'll know then. And then there's also, don't forget about the Curiosity and Perseverance rovers and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter are all going to be imaging in about 12 hours, right? And they're going to give us the closest views we've had yet. So it's exciting. European Space Agency's Mars missions will also join. It's going to be 2.2 astronomical units from Mars. Astronomical units, the distance between Sun and Earth. So, wow, really close. So the most recent analysis is that the nucleus is presently absorbing 3 to 8 gigawatts of solar energy, but remains thermally indifferent. It's sitting there at about 140,000 kelvins, ice cold, not heating up at all like it should, and with steady 73 megawatt emissions and no increasing outgassing as it gets closer to the sun. Comets that get closer to the sun, that all that solar energy hits it, it starts breaking up, it starts outgassing, it starts changing the trajectory. You begin to see these pronounced comas. We're just not seeing it. We're not seeing it with Atlas, right? And same with that coronal ejection that happened. It just didn't really have a big effect on Atlas, and that's a validation point for Avi Loeb's theory that this thing is massive. Also some recent spectral data has shown an extreme abundance ratio of iron and nickel atoms in the coma. When I say extreme abundance, an extreme abundance of nickel and barely any iron. That's also the atomic nickel is showing up at unexpectedly low temperatures, and possibly something called nickel tetracarbonyl, right? Now, that's something that we industrially produce here on Earth. It's a compound, and we make it because it does not occur in nature anywhere that we've ever seen. And so there's people looking at that going, whoa, there's your proof. But let me tell you something. Under the chaos theory, it's possible that somewhere in the universe there is a process and a unique set of chemistry where that's being created. It doesn't mean that we have the cornerstone, or we've cornered the market on producing nickel tetracarbonyl, if that's what they've detected. That's why the spectral analysis is going to be so important. But that is just another really strange coincidence about 3i Atlas. So now, not only do we have just this presence of nickel with very little iron, but now we've got nickel tetracarbonyl, and which it's just we created that. So it's interesting. And then that concentration of nickel, what's odd about that is everywhere in the universe when we find nickel, it's got iron with it, and we refine it, and part of our alloy science is we creating pure nickel. But to see this happen naturally is there's people who are saying there's no way, but look, I still think there's a way, but it is highly unusual. But guess what? If you watch my last few videos, I've been talking about the fact that the 17-minute burst, the 17-minute cycle, that is rotational. Right? There's something anomaly on the surface that every 17 minutes it's reflecting the sun. But then we kind of started going, but you know what? It's not getting, at the point that it's not getting enough energy from the sun to produce the size outburst that it's having. Like I think one was measured at 10 gigawatts. And so that didn't make sense. But it's still, they started thinking it was rotational because they got some harmonics at like 8 and 34 minutes, and it made them think maybe there's a rotation happening here. But guess what? Based on what we can see, the tail is not flickering. And typically when it's rotating, it'll flicker because of those surface anomalies. And the brightness is constant, which that defies the norms for space objects, especially as it gets closer to the sun. So Ovulobe, look, I'm going to tell you the other people that are Dobsonian Power on YouTube. He thinks it's alien. Angry Astronaut on YouTube. He thinks it's alien. Now they're outside the mainstream, but they are strong voices in in this whole astronomy space, and they're definitely dedicated to it, and they have strong opinions that are founded in their observations. And I actually, even though I'm not in the same camp that they are, I'm not declaring it alien yet. They are. I'm not looking at them and going, "You're crazy." I'm going, "Okay, I understand why you think that." It's just in my gut, I still feel like it's interstellar, right? Now, there's also a theory that this is macroscopic dark matter relic from the Big Bang. That's why it's so unusual, so different than anything else, because this is a kind of think about it being a snapshot in time from the very beginning of this universe, when a lot of the processes that led to a lot of the chemical compositions that we have now hadn't even happened yet. This could be that level of a relic. That's pretty interesting. It could be like this spherical, non-spinning, stable, heat-stable object that's from the beginning of time. But I can tell you what mainstream views are, that it's exotic natural chemistry from interstellar origins. That's kind of what I think it is. Those two theories about the aliens, because of all the reasons, and the dark matter relic, those are just speculation. There's no evidence of that. It's not like anyone took a look at the data and went, well, because of these data points, I say this. It's not that. It's sci-fi. And that's fueling a lot of social media hype right now. So just pay attention to official agencies like NASA that went dark. Because everything from it's broke up, that it's going to hit Earth, it's going to hit Mars, that something hit it, that it disappeared for 20 minutes, all that stuff. It's the 20-minute thing come from the 17-minute thing, I guarantee you, and they just got it wrong. But you know what? That's what social media does, and so I just wanted to tell you, did my day's analysis, and this is my summary of it. All eyes on Mars tomorrow. This flyby is going to be great. The timeline that I think is going to happen is that it's gathering the images tomorrow. It's going to process them. It's going to start sending them on Saturday, and we start to see them on Sunday. How much we get to see in real time, I don't know, but we are going to know by Sunday night. We're going to know that is this thing a comet or is this something else?